So what do you do when you do not know the answer to a job interview question? Typically, people do some common mistakes, and one of them is to make up an answer, which is to create an answer on the spot. But that's a very big mistake because it can lead you to provide incorrect information, and that cannot be a positive thing for you. Another common mistake is to avoid the question or just try to give some vague or unrelated answers, which is another bad strategy. Or sometimes candidates get confused and they start throwing some buzzwords or industry jargon and so on. All of these are bad strategies, so please do not use them, because I have seen so many times while interviewing different candidates that one candidate will have a fantastic interview and they are giving all the right answers, but when they stumble upon a question which they cannot answer, they would start doing one of these three mistakes, and their positive impression they have created throughout the interview just all goes down the drain in 1 second. But don't do any of that. Instead, watch this video till the end, because I will share with you 5 things you can do if you come across a question which you cannot answer in a job interview, and that will really help you turn this situation into a positive opportunity for you and make a positive impression. My name is Jamil Hai, and I've been working in management positions across South Asia, Middle East, and North America for the last 20 years. And my mission is to help you build real life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. The first thing you need to do is stay calm and know that it's okay not to know all the answers in a job interview. The reason why people make these common mistakes is because they make a very dangerous assumption that they need to know all the answers in a job interview. And if you don't even know an answer, you just need to make up an answer or just throw something at the recruiter so that at least they have an answer. And that's the wrong strategy. If you are asked, let's say, 10 questions, and if you don't know the answer of 2 of them, that's not the end of the world. And there are strategies which I'll cover later in this video on how do you manage that situation instead of just making up something and just throwing it out. So just make sure that you stay calm and know that it's fine. You'll be okay. This is not the end of the world. And let's move to the next strategy. The second thing you should do is ask a clarification question. If you are unsure about how to answer a certain question, it's absolutely fine for you to ask a clarification around this. Let's look at an example. Let's say if the recruiter is asking you this question, which is, can you explain your experience with implementing XYZ software? Now let's assume that you have experience of implementing this, but you are not sure what part of implementation is he talking about, because your answer could be very different depending on which aspect of implementation is being inquired about. So what you could do is you can ask a clarification like this. Certainly, could you please clarify which specific aspects of XYZ software are you interested in? Are you asking about my experience with its installation, customization, or usage within a particular context? So in this way, you are asking a clarification on which aspect of implementation is the recruiter more interested in. And by asking this clarification, you can then go deeper into the area they are interested in and they want to know more about. And imagine if you did not ask this clarification and started just giving a vague answer around all the different aspects, that would have confused the recruiter even more. And at certain stage, when this kind of thing happens, the recruiter or the interviewer, they just get disengaged and they will stop listening to you because they will say, oh, I'm not getting the answer. But by asking the clarification question, you are basically trying to zoom into the specific area they are interested in. Let's say they want to know about customization because the reason why they are hiring you is for customizing this XYZ software in their company, right? So then you can give them your very relevant experience of customizing this software, and that can be very beneficial for them to get the right evidence that, okay, you are the right person for this job. Similarly, there are some other ways of asking clarifying questions as well. Let's look at them. Can you please repeat or rephrase the question? So this can buy you some more time to think about the question and get more context. Could you provide more context or background on this topic? Because this can allow you to go deeper into the context and understand a little bit more on what the recruiter is asking about, just like the example which we gave. Are you looking for a specific example or scenario? So this can help you narrow down your response so that you can address the interviewer's expectations. Could you clarify what do you mean by a specific term? So sometimes what happens is that a recruiter will ask you a question and they will probably throw an acronym, or they might throw a certain kind of industry term and you don't know what that industry term, once again, it's not the end of the world that you don't know. So you can ask them to clarify what are they really talking about, and then you can answer accordingly. Can I take a moment to gather my thoughts? It's perfectly acceptable to ask for a moment to collect your thoughts, especially if the question caught you off guard. A lot of times people just want to give an answer immediately, and that's not really required. It's fine that you may want to ask for a little bit of time, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds, so that you can gather your thoughts and come back to the interviewer. Once again, this will only happen if you stay calm. So remember that first tip and make sure that you're calm, so that even if you buy this time, you are allowing yourself to assimilate your thoughts in a very organized way. Would you like me to approach this from a certain perspective? So this is another way of clarifying where do they want you to go deeper into, because sometimes some of these questions are so generic and they are asking about your experience over a range of things, and by asking this kind of a clarification question, it helps you where do you really want to go deeper into while answering the question. Now let's move to the third tip. Let's say after asking all these clarifying questions, you still don't know the answer to the question. And in that case, what you need to do is admit that you don't know gracefully. How do you do that? You can say things like, I am not entirely sure about that, but I'm willing to learn and figure it out. So this way, you are not just saying, I don't know the answer to this question, but you say, okay, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm willing to learn. So that's also showing you your ability to constantly learn new things. And the last thing you could do is, if appropriate, offer to follow up. Sometimes they might ask you a question about your experience or about your knowledge in a certain industry development that is happening. So you might want to say something like, I don't have the exact information right now, but I can do some more research on this and come back to you. So by doing so, you are basically telling the recruiter that you are happy to do more research and it's something that you did not know. So you are admitting gracefully as well, which is a positive thing. Trust me, admitting that you don't know in a nice way is a positive thing in a job interview, because that basically tells the recruiter that, okay, this person doesn't want to show us that he is know-it-all, or he wants to pretend that he knows everything, because nobody knows everything, right? So it's absolutely fine. We are all human beings. We are not machines. So therefore, it's fine that we admit that we don't know in a nice way, just like I've shared with you. And in this case, you can also offer to follow up and come back to them later with some more information. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've also made videos on topics like how to get your resume past the AI chatbots, and also job interview questions such as, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, which you can watch by clicking over here. Keep watching.